this session, we are going to learn about the HTML and its structure. First of all, my name is Mr. Deepak Kumar. I am an assistant professor in School of Computation Science from GN University that is located in Kakwada. Okay, so in today's session, we are going to learn about the basics of HTML and its updated versions of HTML5, its structure and its semantic elements. Okay, so don't be worried about that. We are going to learn about the modern application, how it's working nowadays, and how they are prioritizing itself in the modern world. First of all, look at that. This is, we can say that the logo of HTML5, the newly updated version of HTML, that show that it is the latest and newly version of HTML5, which is just released in 2014. First of all, before moving on HTML5, you should learn about what is the meaning of actually HTML. Here it is, HTML. In the standard meaning, it stands for Hypertext Markup Language. Where it stands for hypertext. That means that particular text that containing a link that is a reference of another page or another text. Okay, but after that, the markup, it stands for the elements. Elements that carrying a particular content or composed representation context in between the elements. These are called as markup. Okay, by the way, the HTML, which was released and we can say that developed by Timothy John Berners-Lee, which is in 1990 and 1991. It's around in 1990 by Tim Berners-Lee, which is also known as Berners-Lee. Okay, but actually we are starting here the why they created the HTML5. First of all, they created the HTML because to make your web page in a structured format. Okay, nowadays we are looking in our modern website, they are quite highly versatile in a modern structure, but in the previous time they are not that much structurized. Okay, they are just a lot of complexity in between the web page. But nowadays, let's move forward. Look at that. The birthplace of your HTML is in CERN, CERN, which means this is the particular link you can looking here. That is the particular exactly the link where we can look at our first website that was created in the previous and the top most version of HTML, which is also called as the birthplace of our HTML. Let's take a view. If I type here info.kern.ch, we'll be able to, if it's not visible to you, look at here. We'll be able to reach the topmost first website of HTML. If I click here the browser, the first website, look at that. This is the website that doesn't carry any kind of images, text, any kind of videos, animation, nothing. It just carrying the simple basic structure of using. If you inspect that particular page, just look at here. It just carrying that HTML5 tag and head tag, body, header, and few tags, just like paragraph, anchor tags. Okay, this one we can say that the topmost first page or the birthplace of your HTML. Let's move forward. First of all, a lot of you just know about the HTML. The syntax is, the extension is .html, but that's not. HTML syntax or extension is also used by .html or even .htm. Just look at here. If I open my code here, I'm using the software which is called as Visual Studio Code. Okay, or we can say that VS Code. That was quite highly rich in, we can say that, extensions and quite compatible in doing programming, which is mostly nowadays using it for modern web development. So it is very easy to use. Okay, but first of all, just look at here. First of all, there is a file base. What you have to do, just click on that particular file. You have to write your file name. For example, I'm writing my first file, program file, with the help of html1.html. HTML.html is stand for the extension of your HTML. It's working for as a HTML. But if I type the extension of HTML2.htm, look at that. Same as it is, it quietly embedded that particular extension in between them using HTML. Okay, means my point of view is that you can use you can use both of the extension of your HTML page. That can be your HTML or that can be your HTML. Okay, so don't be worried about that. A lot of students don't know about that .html is also verified, or we can say that this we can be enabled to use that extension. Okay, let's move forward. First of all, a lot of students in their programming, a lot of students in their interview time or during the time of if someone asks them about, they confuse the particular HTML with programming language. But exactly, HTML and programming languages, they are quite totally different from each other. First of all, look at here. In HTML, that is simply markup language, which means that is used to provide the overall structure to your web page. But as compared to programming a language, they are used object-oriented languages, just like procedure, just like Java, just like Python. Okay, and move on. In the HTML, they provide proper structure and proper layout to embed multiple images, videos, text, hyperlinks, these kind of thing. But and compared to programming languages, they are used particular logical based kind of thing. They provide particular logic based solutions to provide huge and mathematical calculation, decision making loops, that kind of thing. And execution, if you say that how our HTML particular file work or execute, just look at here, that simply run on the web browser in which directly interpreted. Okay, but as compared to programming languages, they need compiler, they need interpreter, just like for our C and C++ programming language, they need compiler. But as compared to Java, as compared to JavaScript or Python, they just need an interpreter. Okay, so move on. The syntax in HTML, that's quite different. We just used elements or tags to embed that particular text in between our structure. As compared to in programming language, they have a formal standard syntax to provide or to generate that particular output. Okay, just move forward. First of all, this one is the structure of your HTML5. Just look at here. That one is neat and clear, simple structure of your HTML5. And if we compare the both of our HTML5 version as compared to HTML previous version, that one is quite totally different. As compared to, let's look at here, in your HTML5 version, there is just an document type which stands for it belongs from the HTML5. But in previous version, there is a particular link that stands for the providing a particular link of HTML from which version that's belonging from. Okay, let's move on. If we break down the overall structure of HTML5, just look at here. Now we are moving forward our coding. Just look at here. If I press here, I'm working on my HTML1.html programming page that we have created previous. Okay, now look at here, shift plus this one. What's happening here? That particular VS Code providing us by default syntax and structure of our HTML page. Just look at here in our body. If we're talking about this particular thing, that document type HTML, it stands for it belonging from the version of HTML5. But as compared to the previous version, it containing the particular link. Okay. Now look at here, the particular document type HTML, as I told you, this tag that represents us that it belongs from the family of HTML5 version. Okay. Now move forward, the HTML5 language EN. This particular enclosing tag, it stands for the primary language of the web page using iOS language code EN, that is standing for English. Move forward. Another one is our head tag. Another one is our head tag that contribute the metadata about your web page. Metadata, it stands for the data about the data. It means it carrying the particular data of your web page, what you are carrying, what you are showing, what you are representing along with the particular title that representing in the document. Okay. Now, another one is meta character UTF set. It stands for that document is character set attribute declared in character encoding. If you look at here in the particular coding, there is one more thing. Meta name, viewport, width device, width and scale. Let me zoom it. Okay, look at here. This particular line that represent that it is an responsive web page, responsive web structure, where it can, this particular page or this particular structure can be responsive on all kind of screen. If I create the particular page here, it can be responsive according to your mobile screen, according to your tablet screen, or according to your different laptop screen, because different screen size and different screen resolution. And move forward, there is one more thing which is called as title. Title representing the particular page name. that is writing in between your text that will be showing on between your the particular tag of your browser. Okay, and move forward. Another one is your body. That body contain the overall structure of your web page. That doesn't require any kind of more we can say that structure. That just require only the body tag, starting and in closing tag, that contain the all things, all tags in between the body. Let's move forward. If you talk about the basic HTML structure, that one is heading, paragraph, line break, horizontal lines, and comments. These are simple and basic tags that we should need to know about this. First one is your heading and paragraph tags. If we talk about the HTML headings, that heading, it stands for that what kind of heading and subheadings that you want to embed in your web page. First of all, our headings that are described in 6 more types, okay? And every type that have a different, we can say that size. And just look at in between our code. If I type here H1 and represent here hello GNA family, and if I start it on a live server, that it show me hello GNA family. But if I provide the same text in our h2 tag, if I again open it in live server, looks what's this output. Now look at that, the output is totally different from H1 and H2. H1 is quietly, we can say that in large as compared to H3, same as it is the H1 from your H6, which indicate the different types and different heading size along with thickness. Means H1 have quite high, we can say that font family as compared to H6 tag, and which have same as it is in the thickness. Let's move forward. If I talk about paragraph or P tag, that stand for that is used to embed any kind of paragraph in between your web page. Look at that in between your coding. If I type here P tag, opening and closing, I'm just using the lorem, LOREM. A lot of you students don't know about what is the meaning of lorem. There is just a random and simple text or demos text that if you want to do any kind of testing kind of thing in between a web page, then we use lorem. Okay. Now look at here. If I open the same page in my browser, look at here. There is one more thing that's happening here. The lorem text is generated and representing its output in between my web page. Okay. Now move forward. Comments. Here is the comments that stand for what kind of thing that we want to represent in between your code. That can be your, we can say that hidden code, or that can be any kind of explanation or temporary line that you need to be hide in between your code. Or comments are also very important when we are doing that particular code or particular programming along with your colleagues. Okay. If you want to embed the comment here, that what you have to do, you have to just click on the particular arrow, double hyphen, and whatever you are writing here, it can be your comment. I'm writing, this is my comment. This is my comment, along with double hyphen and closing. Now look at that. Now look at that. It converted itself in the green for color. That stands for it becomes the command. Okay. There is in Visual Code, there is one more shortcut way. Just you have to press Control and plus question mark button. It represents that command is generating. Okay. Okay. Another one is your line break. Whenever you want to embed any kind of break in between your paragraphs, in between your headings, or single line break, then we use BR tag. It stands for the break. There is a no enclosing tag in between along with BR tag or BR element. And another one is your HR tag that represents the horizontal line. It represents that if you want to embed any kind of horizontal line, that users need an HR tag in between your structure. Okay, let's move on. If you talk about the HTML and HTML5, both of their versions along compare with each other. The first of all, HTML's previous versions, all of them, they use div tag. Div, it stands for division tag. Let me show you in your coding. Just look at here. I'm clearing all the thing. from your body. Now, how we use div and just enter. This is called as a div tag. Whatever you are converting, whatever your text, context, images you want to import or compose in between your structure, you just need a division tag, or we can say that div tag. But the div tag work along with the particular class name. Class equal to, for example, this is my demo div. I'm just writing it's my demo. This can be my demo. That is work as belong from the previous version, but in our HTML5 it doesn't use the div tag. That doesn't mean they have restricted the div tag, but we can use the div tag, but we are just replacing the div tag with new semantic elements. Furthermore, in your HTML5 there is one more thing, that is multimedia. Well, in HTML5 and its previous version, what we required, the third parties to embed any kind of multimedia things, audio, video, flash. But in our HTML5, it doesn't require the third party. We just need the more semantic elements, audio, video kind of thing. But along with that, HTML5, they have basic inputs thing related to form. But in HTML5, they have new elements and new inputs value for your email, for your gender, for your date, for your range. Along with that, in storage, HTML that use the only cookies, but in HTML5 it doesn't require the cookies. We are using here a web storage that is divided in furthermore two parts, the local storage and session storage. They're working are totally different as compared to cookies. Even they handle the large amount of data as compared to cookies, where cookies handle around 16 to 18 KB, but our local and session storage can handle MBBS in data. Okay. And responsiveness, then HTML is not that much responsive, but HTML5 is totally responsive as compared to our smartphones, our mobile friendly views. Okay. And APIs, in our HTML they have limited APIs, but in our HTML5 we can use the multiple APIs related to fetch the user location, just like as geolocation API, drag and drop API, and webhook API. Along with that, for marketing sentence, nowadays people are using the particular web pages for marketing, but and SEO friendly. To make that thing more stronger, we have using now HTML5. Let's move forward. Look at here. This is the simple structure of our HTML's previous version. Here it is. We have using the multiple sections for our heading portion, for footing portion, but we are using the div tag, or we can say that division section. But look at here, in our HTML5 structure, we are not using here div. We are just using here the particular semantic elements. Okay, let's talk about the semantic elements. Look at here. First of all, you just need to about what is the actual meaning of semantic elements. Semantic elements describe the actual meaning of to the both the browser and the developer what is we are embedding in between that particular element. Just look at here. As compared to div, we are don't know about what is the in between the div tag, but in semantic tag we can know or easily understand what is hiding or what is embedding the in between your semantic elements. Just look at here. The first example of a semantic element is header. We doesn't use the div tag, we are replace the div tag with the header tag. We just need the header tag only, starting and then closing tag. Header for your particular header section of your page, nav, that stand for navigation bar. We all know the navigation bar play a very indispensable role in our web page to locating from one page to another page. That is for navigation purpose. Okay. Another one is our sections. Now that is can be used for a group related items, just like as our portfolio, just like our images, just like our profile cards. Okay. Now after that, articles, that is self-contained context used for blogs, news, and article kind of thing. And along with that, another one is our aside tag, that is used to embed any kind of extra context along with your images and along with your videos. Let's move forward. Another one is your footer, that stands for that you can use any kind of link in between the bottom of your web page that is represent and show that what kind of copyright authority or context you are providing. And another one is your main tag, that stands for the main context or central part of your web page. Okay. Another one is a figure. Instead of using image tag, what we are using nowadays in our HTML5, that one is our figure. In between, we can embed images, profile cards, that kind of thing. Along with that, for a caption purpose, we can use the fig caption tag also. And another one is your mark tag, that is used to represent the important text in between your structure. Okay, let's talk about the multimedia elements. If I talk about the multimedia elements, then we have two majorly using multimedia element, audio and video tag. Before moving on audio and video tag, you just understand the semantic elements and the structure of HTML5. If I show you in our coding, let me show you. Okay, look at here. I already created the one structure but related to the GNA website that is related to the structure of your web page. If I run that particular page in our live server, just look at here how it represent. Okay, look at that. This is particular simple structure of GNA University. There is a one header tag, navigation bar, footers, and some context in between the main structure. Okay, but look at that. There is a no JavaScript I have added. There is a no CSS I embed in between that particular structure. Look at here. This one, the particular GNA University, that is one heading, and this particular two lines, this one of your particular navigation bar, and this one again is your h2 tag, your paragraph tag. Another one is same for sections, for headings, and for footers. If you look at in between your code, same as it is. There is a header tag that containing more things or more embedded tags in between, or you can say that subparts h1 and b. Another one is a navigation bar that carrying an anchor tags in between that. Okay, look at here. This one is the main context, or we can say that main tag that containing articles, sections, and furthermore tags in between them. And last one that representing your footer tag. Here it is. That representing the copyright and since where from the GNA University started. Okay. Now let's move forward to our. Okay. Another one is in multimedia elements that stand for what kind of multimedia you can embed in your web page. First one is your audio and video. Okay, look at here. Audio element. The audio element is used to embed any kind of sound belong from any kind of extension that can be your MP3, SVD, any kind of thing. Okay, now look at here. But along with that particular audio element, they have multiple attributes related to the particular audio. If I show you how the audio works, let me clear it first. Okay, this is one more scene. First of all, just enter that HTML structure. In your title, I'm just adding audio tag. Now in your body, I'm just adding the one div that's related to section tag with an audio tag. In between, now look at here, in between the audio tag for the source code, I'm just adding in my asset, I have already one audio. The name is ringtone. Okay. If I just added this particular path only, if I run that particular code, look at here, there is nothing in between your web page. Why? Because I have not added that particular attributes. If I go back and add just one line, that one is your controls. Only the one particular attribute, how represent our particular output in between your structure. Look at here. Now, look at here, the particular structure is embedded here using the audio controls. That is playable. Same as it is. You can add furthermore attributes. That one is your auto loop, autoplay, loop kind of thing. Okay. If I talk about more attributes, there are four. First, we have done the source that is used for path, and the one is for controls that show the play, pause, and volume buttons, and another one is the autoplay. It stands for when your page load, automatically the video will be started. Another one is your leap. It stands for when your audio it will be ended, it will be start again from the starting position. Another one is your muted. By default, when your page start, it will remain the muted one. Let's move forward. This one is our video element. That stands for that you can embed any kind of video along with its type in between your web page. That can be your MP4 or another type of or another extension. Just look at here in between your coding. Primarily, we have embed the audio tag only. Now we are removing it and just adding the one thing. That one is our video tag. For the video tag, we just need the video element. along in between your source, same as it is just like video, in between source, you have to embed the path for your video. Here it is. I have a video that is known as animate video. Same as it is, without controls, it will be not representing any kind of play, pause, and move button. So for this, we are adding here controls. If I only play the particular code in between your web page, look at here. That one is representing in quite huge format. There is a very huge screen. With in the bottom down, there is a play pause button also. The video is working. Okay, but just wait. For the overall movement and the controls of this particular video, what you have to do, go back in between the code. Along with controls, you have to represent the width. I'm writing here the width is 375 pixel and the height, let's move it, 300 pixel. Okay. Now go back in your code. Just look at here. Now the size will be decreased. Okay. But along with that, I can add here one more thing. That one is your autoplay, which means whenever my page is going to be loaded, it will start automatically without any kind of play button. Just look at here. That will be my output. Along with that, there is one more thing. Loop attribute. It will be start the video again when the video ends. Another one is poster. Poster, that is stand for you can add any kind of thumbnail on before your web page, on before your video. Just like here, I'm just adding the path here. Here it is, I have one image, I've just added it. And before that, I'm removing the autoplay and loop. Here it is. The poster is embedded here along with the audio. If I play that particular video, the poster remove and the video will start it. This is all about our multimedia elements. In our next session, we are going to talk about the HTML APIs and HTML forms. Now, look at that. We have learned how many things: your semantic elements, multimedia structure, and multimedia elements, and a few little bits about our HTML basics. In this time, the modern websites are playing very indispensable role, and HTML5 in between the application modern development, they are playing a very, we can say that huge role in between your modernization of your web page. So in our next session, we are going to learn about how HTML5 APIs and how HTML5 forms are going to work. Okay, thank you.